Hey sunshines, welcome to week 6 of my year of sunshine. So week 6 is actually something that I love to do anyway, but really kind of ties into some of the issues I had with my dad. I can't even say towards the end, like for a long time. This week is all about decluttering. Now, I am a huge fan of Marie Kondo and the KonMari method. I think it's a great place to start. I think there are tons of great ideas in there, but I do have to say, for myself, I have relapsed. I know she says none of her clients relapse. I find that hard to believe. For myself, as someone who read the book and really took it to heart, I have relapsed. So it's something that I tend to do like every couple of years or so. If you don't know what the KonMari method is, it's like basic. It's you pick, like, there's a process and everything, but you take every item you own and you touch it and you decide, does it still bring me joy or not? Few exceptions being like your taxes and stuff like that. I think it's really good, but for me, I know that there are things that once brought me joy that don't anymore, and that can change fairly quickly depending on what it is. Let's get into the week. And for those of you who are new here, which is probably most of you because it's still a very tiny channel, basically I'm doing this whole year of sunshine, year of change thing because my father passed away in April, and it was a huge shock. It's still a shock. I still wake up and get those feelings of like, oh, I got to call him about something. And then I can't. So, as a way to kind of try to work through some of this and try to deal with some of the fact that our relationship was very tense for the last chunk of time. So, we were literally just starting to really reconnect, and then he's gone. And so, yeah, it's been kind of a lot to process. So I'm sort of going through this whole thing for multiple reasons, being, life is short. His life was cut off, I think, before, I guess everybody has their time, but for me, it was too soon for him to go. And I guess I kind of want to look at my own life and do my best to make it joyful, because I think his last several years weren't really joyful. So I'm kind of looking at that. We're also very similar in ways, so I kind of don't want to end up going down the same path. So anyway, that's the backstory. Moving on to this week. This week really is all about decluttering. My dad was a mess. It got worse over the years. I already know that I carry around a lot of clutter. I'm one of those people, like, I'll have piles of stuff that I'm like working on or about to work on or whatever, or like, oh, these are cool things I want to do someday. If I don't be careful, it can overwhelm very quickly. This week, I wanted to work on my workspace. Next week is going to be another, actually, hold on. I did that backwards. This week, I was working on my living space. Next week is going to be my workspace, although they overlap quite a bit. So it's kind of both of them both weeks, but we'll just separate them for the sake of this video and the blog post. That's kind of the idea behind it. I know that I can definitely go in the too much clutter kind of vein. And my father, who has a very different relationship with my brother ended up doing quite a bit of the decluttering for my dad. And one, were anything to happen to me, I don't want my family members to be kind of stuck with that situation. And two, I also feel like when I have too much stuff, I forget a lot of it. It ends up feeling like weight. There's no space to move because it's just crushing in on you. I feel like it is a good time to declutter. And this week came at a perfect time. I actually didn't plan this. It just kind of worked out for me because my roommate got a brand new job this week. And she's working a completely different schedule than she was, very much more of like a 9 to 5. So I have a good chunk of the day where I'm home alone and I can get a lot of stuff done. That was a little different and more difficult when her schedule kind of like bopped back and forth and that kind of thing. Also, she's loving her job, which is a very good thing, you know, because I want her to be happy too. It worked out really well that this is the first week to declutter because I was so excited I have all this time and I could kind of get a lot done during the day. So I found that I really got a lot done, especially at the beginning of the week. Now, midweek, there was a little bit of a snag. It's good, but there were some issues. We got new windows. I was home that day and Sunshine had to go into school. Here's where the week got a little bit difficult for us. Sunshine came home from school and he really wasn't feeling that well. I think sometimes he overdoes it at school. Like there are a lot of dogs there, so he'll play more than he's used to. He came home a little stressed. It's actually why, even though I have a lovely haircut from last week, I didn't wear my hair down because I was up all night. He was very sick. I think he's fine, but we went to the vet this morning, so it was kind of a crazy day. So like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday sort of not as much got done on those days as Monday and Tuesday. But on the plus side, I got a lot done on Monday and Tuesday. I did some of the finer things, like a more like tight organizing on those last few days. That's kind of it. I am going to include over on the blog, which is you can click on Patreon. The blog is free for everybody. If you want to add some extra elements, you can go in there and there's like a monthly thing you can add if you would like to. You don't have to. Everything's on the blog. I did write a book a couple of years ago on decluttering, and I'm going to include that for patrons. If you're interested, that's included. You can always become a patron for 1 month and then cancel after that, and you can still get the book. So that's up to you. I think this week went mostly well. I guess we'll see next week if I can kind of finish up sort of my living and workspace and get those kind of settled. It is a little difficult for me because when I start doing it, I'm then like, well, the kitchen's right there, and then there's the bathroom, and you got to get the hallway to my bedroom. I kind of start like stretching out to everything. I feel really good about those. One of the things that I'm trying to do is, especially with things that I like and stuff that, you know, I really kind of enjoy and have brought me a lot of joy in my life, I'm trying to share some of that with my nieces, trying to sort of, you know, like pass some things along that maybe I'm not going to be able to use, but I think they might get a kick out of. It also is a good way to stay connected. So I've been sending out letters and text messages to some of the younger people in my life to see if maybe they want some art supplies or things of that nature. Also, like, you know, anything to do with like paper and pens and all of that stuff, because I have a lot of it and it's nice to like pass some of it along. To wrap everything up, I'm just going to throw in a few or a couple of quick little favorite things. I ran across this gin company out of California, and the bottle is beautiful. It's this like kind of turquoisey blue, and it has a whale tail on it and like a little wooden stopper cap. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so pretty. So I clicked on it. I don't drink, or almost never, and I never drink gin. But they did have something that I thought was really cool, which is they cut off the tops of their bottles and make them into candles. So I thought, what the heck? I'll give it a shot. And I did, and the candle came in this week, and it is awesome. It smells amazing. Like, I'm shocked at how good this candle smells. It's so pretty. It burns like really nice. I'm gonna link a gin company that also happens to sell a candle and say that is a really, really good thing to try. Okay, there's like fluff in the air. I don't know where it's coming from, but the other favorite thing is this is normally true, but today is for a different reason. So I love notebooks and paper and all of that stuff. I have mentioned this before. One of the things that I don't think until I started using fountain pens, like I didn't really fully understand, like there are major differences in different types of paper. Not just bleed through and ghosting and all of that kind of stuff, but certain papers like almost soak up ink, not ballpoint pen ink, but fountain pen ink. They do the same with like watercolor or something like that. Like they soak it up in a way so like when you're writing, you don't end up with a crisp line, you get a line that kind of feathers out into the paper. And there are certain papers that avoid that, certain papers that happens with a lot, and it doesn't necessarily matter like the thickness of the paper, there are just different properties. And I don't make paper, so I don't know what those are. I trust what they tell me in the descriptions. So this week I ended up getting a brand new notebook with a completely different type of paper. So the one that I love is called Tomoe River paper. It's a Japanese paper. This one is proprietary to this particular notebook company. And I tried the notebook because a lot of people like it as much or even better than Tomoe River paper, my favorite. And so I wanted to give it a shot. Plus the notebook's really nice looking and it comes with a cute sticker, and I love stickers also. So I got this notebook. Cute sticker, yay. Notebook itself, very nice. I do not like the paper. It's just a little too thick. It's just a little too scratchy. The ink does fine on it, but it's not for me. And I know that sounds weird as something that's like one of my favorite things, but I like to know. I'm glad I found this out. I'm glad I tried something new. Didn't work out, but it sort of makes me happy that I still have my Tomoe River paper and I can enjoy that. So yeah, those are my favorite things this week. A little weird, and kind of how the week went in general. I would love it if you made it this far, if you wouldn't mind liking, subscribing, send the channel to somebody else if you're so inclined. I am so excited to talk to you. I will talk to you again next week, and here is a little bit of sunshine. I have just started playing tricks on Mummy. I got her to get up, and then once she got up, I won't move from the bed. Aren't I funny? I think I'm pretty funny. Mummy does not think I'm quite as funny. Oh well.